probably shouldn't try anything that I talk about on this channel. Hey, welcome back to California, West Africa. I'm going to take Rex for a walk. If you're a new subscriber here, or if you're new to this channel, you probably found me through the shorts. I'm 55 years old. I moved to Cote D'ivoire 3 years ago. And I'm doing everything the opposite of what other older men are doing. 55 years old, usually these guys are collecting Social Security or some kind of disability, and they're moving to like Vietnam, Philippines, Thailand, all great places because they want to, like the other day, I was watching a video of a man who was a truck driver for 50 years. He's now 70. Then he moved to the Philippines and he's having a great life. He moved to Cebu. He's living in some luxury apartments for $500 a month in the city area. This way, Rex. He moved to Cebu, so he has a very nice life there. Rex, come on, let's go. Uh-oh, got some drama here. Oh, this is what I get for not taking. Rex, this way, Rex. Get over there, troublemaker. So, that's what I get for taking off the leash. So, there's no shortage of videos that you can watch from the Philippines of guys that are living their dream life. They're older, they've got younger women over there, and that's all fine and dandy, right? That's all great. Now, there's also not a shortage of videos where guys are going to get love scammed out of there, even like I watched one where there's a military guy who was married for 20 years and his wife ended up getting into politics in the Philippines, and now she's destroyed them financially.
Up here in court, I would have documents. Court.
Okay. Patrick Gorlick responded. Did you give the court his right address?
Yes, sir.
What
Yes.
address did you give the court?
5 Old Road, Bulusan. We lived there together before. So I know that
Is
address.
it here? I don't see it. Nowhere here. I don't see it here. Because if you gave the court the right address, it would have been mailed to him, and surely he would have received it, and he would have at least contacted a lawyer to defend him. And
I mean, there's just, I don't know, I can't really see an overview of whether it's overall better to live in the Philippines or not. I mean, there's certainly pitfalls you got to watch out, especially as an older man. You're going to be, especially if you want to get with younger women, you're going to have problems. I'm with a woman that's African, 20 years younger than me. But she's educated, 35 years old, I'm 55. Seems to be working out pretty good for 3 years. I've had zero problems. So I haven't had any problems. And I just got lucky. Now, my first trip to Africa was to Nigeria, and I had a relationship in Nigeria. That was a pure disaster. I've never planned on anything in my life. And I fly by the seat of my pants. I have a meager retirement, but I can afford to live here in Africa, which is probably the same as if I went to Philippines or Thailand or something like that. I just chose not to go there because I've been with Thai women, I've been with Filipino women. They're not my cup of tea. They're very jealous. They speak English versus here, people speak French. But they know English. They're very closely tied to the culture in America, so therefore they are a little more savvy on scams and how to manipulate you, especially if you're an older man and you're dating younger women. You really have a lot of pitfalls. So when I came to Africa, Nigeria, like I said, Nigeria was a disaster. I will wholeheartedly recommend never going to Nigeria. I've met some great people in Nigeria, but overall, I was in Lagos. Most of the women are prostitutes. Sorry, this is true. Everything's imported there. It can be expensive. It's not really a great destination. It's ugly. Africa is pretty ugly overall. It's not like, there's got a weak infrastructure. There are definitely some advantages. I prefer Africa, just because if you have, between $2,000 and $5,000, you can live even on a mid-income. You can live okay here. You can create a kind of a bubble that's comfortable. But this is not a destination for everybody. In fact, No one's coming here. No, I can't even get stats. The amount of people or Americans coming here, I can't even get stats on it because it's just nobody's coming here. Nobody wants to come to Africa. I didn't plan on anything of coming here. Like, here's how I got here. Talking to an attorney in Lagos, because I was married. Talking to an attorney says, hey, if you want to find a relationship, because I wanted to find a relationship, I wanted to start a family, which is the opposite of everybody else. How are you 50 years old, Bruno, and just wanted to start a family? I'm doing it completely backwards. But because of my history in the United States and going through a bad divorce 20 years ago, it set me back. It robbed me of my working years. Going through the divorce and going through everything I had to go through the United States. And also the cost of living is such, like in California, I can't even afford to live there. I was basically, it's not that I necessarily wanted to move overseas. I was forced out. Let's be honest. Many of us retirees or disabled people are getting forced out. We're just through the economy. You can't afford to do anything. All your money will be spent on rent and food. You're screwed. So you got to try to make an escape. Now, there are people here that plan retirement. They do everything right. They make all the right investments. And then they're also lucky they got a spouse that was supportive, never divorced them, never raped them. And then, so they had solid relationships. So those guys, they're outside. I don't want to say mainstream, but those guys they planned and they were lucky. Two of those combinations. And you could argue that one kind of contributes to the other. If you plan, you're going to get lucky. I have had bad luck and good luck. The bad luck was just going to Nigeria, didn't know anything about the place, didn't do any research, just went. And it was a disaster. I ended up, it cost me probably $16,000 total in traveling and time and cost and heartache. So then when I moved to Cote D'ivoire, just like this divorce attorney told me in Nigeria, he goes, if you want to find a spouse or a person that's not so much connected to American culture, Cote D'ivoire is the place to go. And for some reason, I believed him. Like, something in his voice, the way he told me, it was heartfelt. He really took the time to talk to me. And I said, that's it. I'm going to try. What do I have to lose at that point? I was living in California. My rent was so high. My food and insurance and cost. And now, of course, I'm a veteran, so I do have free health care included in my disability. So, of course, I had health care. Here, not so much. Although I do have some health insurance through Michelle now. So then I didn't learn my lesson, which is no big deal. I'm pretty flexible. I had already gotten evicted from my house or from the place I was renting in Sacramento, California. I got evicted. Not because I did anything, it was because they were going to sell the house. Veterans were living there. I was sharing the house with other veterans, and they wanted to sell the house, and we got evicted. So I just kind of said, well, I'm just going to go to Cote d'Ivoire. I just purchased a ticket, paid for the visa online, had a service do it for me. It was very expensive, like $500, because I don't understand. I didn't have a computer. Uploading documents was very daunting, and all that process was so complicated. I just said, you know what? I'm just going to pay somebody to do it. Hey, bonjour. So I just got my visa, 30-day tourist visa or 90-day tourist visa, and came. Now, the visa process after that has been super easy because not too many Americans come here. They don't have really strict. Now, it'll say strict restrictions on when you're visiting the website to try to get your visa here. It all looks the same as other countries, but then boots on the ground when you get here, very easy. And because I was with Michelle, this is the thing, if you're going to move to Africa, not so much Philippines and Thailand, you're not going to have to, you can go there and operate by yourself. You don't have to have a partner. But because I have a local woman, Michelle, who's a village woman she's IT, she's from here, she's educated, she's a doctor status, so I have a person that can navigate all this stuff for me. So I'm a stay-at-home dad, and Michelle works as a professional, and we're going to stay right here, of course. Well, one thing I want to say real quick before I go inside the house. My friend who's one of those guys who's Filipino. He married a Filipino woman. He lives in America. He's a nurse, or he's some kind of health. He works in healthcare. He's sort of like a nurse, like someone who sterilizes all the equipment in the hospital. Makes decent amount of money. Has a house. His kids are all grown. And he says to me, "What? Why do you want to live there? It looks like a nuclear bomb dropped. It looks like a third world." It is a third world. It's a developing country. Now they're building a road here. This is a new house. Believe it or not, this is a suburban new housing development. These are all houses being built. They'll be nice. There's no really city planning. There's no, they just throw houses together. Like I lived in this a single level home, 3-bedroom, 4-bath. Then they're just building this one right up next to it. There's no planning. All the buildings are different. There's no HOA. There's no, they got street lights up. It's like daytime in here at night. But they're building the road. It looks terrible, but Africa just has trash everywhere. The roads are dirt. The traffic is bad. So it's not going to be as nice as the Philippines or Thailand or anything like that. But you're still going to have some of the pitfalls because it's still all developing countries. Let's go inside, Rex. So when you step inside my little oasis, so it's a big difference, right? I mean, I got a yard, the grass needs to be cut, but I got a tree, nice sized yard. I live it's just a regular brick home. It's very cheaply made. It's not great craftsmanship. You have to have these 2-unit styles of air conditioning. It's rain. I don't have to water the lawn. The house is okay. I spend about $670, just under $700 a month rent for a 3-bedroom, 4-bath, and that's probably a high price. I'm far enough away from things that I don't have I'm not really close to anything because I live outside the expat bubble. If I were to live in the expat bubble, which would be Zone 4, it's called Zone 4. It's in Abidjan, Macquarie, Zone 4, those places, Bonamé. Those places are going to have modern conveniences. They're still going to have power problems. But if you want to live in a luxury a luxury apartment like you would have in the Philippines and Cebu and places like that, you're not going to find that here. It's because all the expats, French people, Lebanese people, all the people that come to Cote d'Ivoire and have business dealings with it, or they're doing contract work down here, because nobody wants to come here, they pay them exorbitant amount. I don't know everything about it. This is what I observe, out in just by myself, just observing that, especially in even dating. So Zone 4 and those places, you're going to have a lot of high prostitution, paid girlfriends. You can get a younger woman, of course, but the prices there are like California prices. I can't even live inside the expat bubble. I could if I had a 1-bedroom and I wanted to spend all my money and live there, and be nice, be next to bars and restaurants and the ocean. Yeah, I could, but it's not really something I think is worth it. And because I started a family, nothing was planned except for my daughter, and we're trying to have one more, maybe 2 more. I don't know. Like I said, nothing is planned except for the kids. But I just came here, and because I have Michelle to take care of everything, I don't have to worry about trying to navigate this country. I don't even speak French. Everyone speaks French here. So like I was just walking and a guy pulled up, "Oh, speaking of French." "Sorry, sir, I don't speak French." Now, am I going to learn French? Probably over time. I know a little bit of French, obviously. I've talked about this in on other videos. I really am not interested in learning French. I have Michelle really is my buffer for everything here. She negotiates prices. Here you cannot negotiate prices as a white person or a foreigner. People think you can. Now, people have told me, I have friends, French friends, not French friends, but other, I don't want to say anyone specifically, but let's just say in general, people, foreigners, think they can come here and negotiate prices. But then when they tell me prices they paid for things, I was like, you didn't negotiate that price. That was the price you paid the foreigner price, which is usually double. I avoid all that by having Michelle. Now, I do go to the local markets. I go to the local markets. I don't know why that keeps popping back up. I got a Google Hub, so it sits here and just does stuff by hand gestures.
Easy to pick up. See?
So, my point is that you're not going to get anything cheap here. Women aren't going to be cheap if you live in the expat bubble. Housing's not going to be cheap. Food's not going to be cheap. You're going to be paying more. But because I moved to Benjerville and I was able to live outside the expat bubble and I live more like a local, even though, you know, the biggest adjustment was cooking my own foods. I had to cook all my own foods. Michelle, if you're looking for a traditional relationship here, of course you can find it. I say I wanted a traditional, but because Michelle's a professional and she just happens to be educated, she's working, she wants to work, and it gives me better security for Bella if something were to happen to me. I think about my, you know, inevitable, you know, aging and death in the next 20 to 30 years if I'm lucky. And so I'm choosing a younger partner. I was able to, I have confidence in her that she can provide for my children if something were to happen to me. Even if I got kicked out of the country or something, you know, if anything happens, I trust that Michelle would be able to provide that. Now, if you're going to Philippines as an older man.
Age matter.
No, as long as you both are legal already.
Is 65 too old for a young Filipina?
For me, no, because they are still 65 years old that are very active when it comes to their lifestyle.
So you would date a 65-year-old foreigner?
I think it depends on, because I base dating from attitude.
See, this is why I know I'm skipping around a lot, but one of the things that I find I wouldn't do, I would not expect to go as a 50, 60, or 70-year-old, date younger women, and then expect them not to want to have a future. I think that's now, as much as people say, I hate women, I don't hate women. But as much as people will call me misogynist, a sexist, and all these other things, people even call me racist on this channel. It just blows my mind. But anyway, I think it's very selfish to date a younger woman and not expect to give her things that a normal family would want. Like, women want kids. I mean, men want kids too. I want kids. But these older men go into the Philippines and date these younger women, they don't want to have kids. Most of them. They just want to have the younger woman to keep them company and do what they want, and then they don't give anything back to them. They're going to die pretty soon. Sure, the woman is also it's a parasitical relationship when you go to the Philippines and Thailand. She's going to want your money. I mean, if you think a 25-year-old woman is going to want your 60-year-old ass, get out of here. Now, if you're an exceptional man, and I don't fit the exceptional man kind of thing, but I'm in good shape. You look probably my age, but I can date younger women, but I'm also a virile man and I make enough money where I can afford it. And I also can recognize traps when I see them for the most part. And like I said, I just got lucky with Michelle, finding her. She doesn't, she's not trying to use me for money. I wouldn't allow that. And that's actually what happened in my relationship in Nigeria. It just started being I'm trying to use this guy, even though, and plus I tried to date within my age range. Even women in your age range, men, if you're trying to go and date overseas, even women in your age range are going to just want your money, try to scam you, try to suck everything out of you that they can, even if they're 40. This is why I just don't date in America. I know I hate saying negative things about American women, but it's true. Trying to date in America is nearly impossible. Now, I could live in California. I could have a nicer place. I could have a car. I could meek out a life there. I know I could, but then I wouldn't have the relationship because women want you to make six figures. I don't make six figures. It's not going to happen. And plus, it's not even worth it. Women in America are not worth supporting and trying to keep up with this facade of, keeping up with the Joneses. I'm sorry. American women are just out. And men are recognizing this every day. I know it's not what you came to the channel to see. I know that, you want to see travel videos. You want to see beautiful places. I try to put those on occasion. I just went to San Pedro. But nobody watches those videos. The only thing people watch on my channel is my shorts with Bella. And people aren't like this. Go look at the viewer count right now, or how many views. I bet you it's going to be less than 20. And then after a month, it might go up to about 70. So my original goal was to have a YouTube channel. But because I'm doing everything backwards, Nobody 55 is running out and having kids and starting a family and being a stay-at-home dad like I am. And I'm a gamer. I game. So I'm flying by the seat of my pants. I'm trying to keep a balance of exercise, family life, maintaining my relationship, and living in a foreign country all at the same time while not speaking the language and having very few friends. Like, I have 1 or 2 friends here, but I don't have time. I don't have a car. I don't go out. I focus my time on Bella and my home life. And that's it. The other day, I think I made a video about going and buying a freezer. Who fucking cares? But my short videos, 1,500. So anyway, that's the video. It's already too long. It's 20 minutes almost. So thanks for joining me. Please like and subscribe to the channel. I am trying to grow the channel. I'm trying to figure out my niche. I don't really have a niche. I have a unique situation, but I'm trying to figure out what people want to watch and also what interests me. If I look at it as like a job, then I don't want to post. But if I keep it light and kind of, I love to laugh. I love hanging out with my daughter. I love my relationship. And I know it's only been 3 years, but I really have a great relationship. Me and Michelle get along great. I'm not trying to hype her up or put her down in any kind of way. I respect the hell out of her, and she loves and respects me. I mean, you can't fake that after 3 years. So I'm really doing well. However, I could be doing better. I could figure out how this YouTube thing works. Most people are not going to succeed in YouTube. I'm probably not going to succeed either. But I'm not really concerned about that. My concern is just reaching out to other men, other people, just showing that, there are white guys that are making a meager income and living in Africa. It's not the ideal place, but hey, you know what? Life's not ideal, but it's better than America currently.